In a dimly lit practice room in Seoul, two boys stood in front of a cracked mirror. Their reflection was blurry, but their eyes burned with something unmistakable: hunger. The floor was cold. The air smelled of sweat and cheap instant noodles. But that was where history began. Point one of them, Jungkook, only 13, barely spoke a word. He looked at the mirror as if trying to see the version of himself he could become. The other, Park Jimin, 16, was known as the best dancer in Busan, graceful, disciplined, a perfectionist. But in that tiny room, he felt clumsy, lost, and small, and no one watching them that night could have imagined that these two boys would one day be called the faces of a generation, the bridge between East and West, and the definition of modern K-pop artistry. Jungkook was born in Busan in 1997, a quiet child, curious, observant. He dreamed of drawing, playing games, maybe dancing, but fame was never the goal. When he auditioned for Superstar K, he didn't expect anything. Yet 7 agencies saw his potential. JYP, Cube, Starship, all wanted him, but Jungkook, surprisingly, chose a company barely anyone knew: Big Hit Entertainment. Why? Because he saw a video of a rapper named RM training in a small studio. "I don't know why," Jungkook once said later, smiling shyly. "I just wanted to be near that energy." Meanwhile, Park Jimin was living another life. He was the top student at Busan High School of Arts, a prodigy in contemporary dance, praised by teachers as once in a generation. One day, his dance teacher told him, "There's a company in Seoul auditioning. You should try." He hesitated. He had never sung before, but he went anyway and was accepted the same day. When Jimin arrived in Seoul, he was the last trainee added to the upcoming boy group, and the most uncertain. He trained longer hours than anyone. Yet, he was told he lacked idol charm. Every night, he called home and cried, wondering if he should quit, but quitting wasn't in Jimin's vocabulary. BTS debuted with No More Dream. Their concept was rebellion, school uniforms, raw hip-hop beats, lyrics about youth suffocation. But the industry didn't care. Critics mocked them as wannabe rappers from a broke company. They performed to near-empty rooms, sometimes in shopping malls with only 20 people watching. Jungkook, still only 15, was the youngest, the golden magne, responsible for vocals, dance, rap, even camera editing. Jimin, as the main dancer, pushed himself to extremes. He barely ate, at one point, losing over 6 kilograms in 10 days to meet expectations. There were nights when the members slept in their tiny dorm, hungry. The ceiling leaked when it rained. Their manager would buy them rice only once a day, but inside that poverty, a fire grew. They practiced until 4 a.m. every day. Jungkook would film the rehearsals, studying every movement. Jimin would stay behind after everyone left, redoing every dance sequence until his feet bled. When people laughed at them, they smiled. When people ignored them, they trained harder. "We had nothing," Jimin later said. "But because of that, we had no fear of losing." 2015, the year everything changed. The release of I Need You wasn't just another comeback. IT was the heartbeat of their youth. Raw, emotional, fragile. That song made them win their first music show award, a moment fans still call the birth of BTS. When the trophy was handed to them, Jungkook cried so hard he couldn't speak. Jimin held the microphone with trembling hands and said, "This feels like a dream. Thank you for believing in us." That moment was captured, replayed, remembered, not for the win, but for the humanity. IT was the era of HYYH, the most beautiful moment in life. The themes of pain, friendship, love, and growth resonated globally. Jungkook's boyish charm began to shine. His smile became a symbol of hope. Jimin's performances, especially in Run and Lie, drew attention for their emotional depth. They were no longer underdogs. They were storytellers of a generation. Between 2017 and 2019, the impossible happened. BTS didn't just break records, they redefined what Korean artists could be. They topped the Billboard 200 chart. They performed at the American Music Awards. They spoke at the United Nations, representing youth empowerment. Jungkook became the symbol of perfection, the golden magne. Vocals like silk, moves like water, discipline like steel. Jimin, on the other hand, transformed into a living embodiment of art. His fan cams, particularly Fake Love and Serendipity, reached hundreds of millions of views. Western journalists called him the most magnetic stage performer of the modern K-pop era. They became fashion icons, global ambassadors, role models, and symbols of Korean pride. But fame came with a price. Behind the glamorous stages, pressure grew heavier. Jungkook, known for perfection, battled exhaustion and self-doubt. He often stayed in the studio past midnight, recording vocals again and again until satisfied. Jimin, though praised endlessly, suffered from body image struggles and anxiety. He once said softly on V Live, "When I see myself on camera, I think I could do better." Fame was a crown, but it was made of thorns at in 2020. The world shut down due to COVID-19, but BTS rose higher than ever. Dynamite, Butter, Permission to Dance, bringing light to a dark world. They became Time magazine's leaders of the future. They performed for the United Nations again. They achieved 4 Billboard #1 songs. But despite all the glitter, both Jungkook and Jimin longed for something simple: normal life. "I want to walk down the street without cameras," Jungkook once said. "I just want to sing freely." 2023 arrived, and the unavoidable reality struck. Military enlistment. Jungkook and Jimin both entered service with quiet dignity, closing one of the brightest chapters of K-pop history. For the first time in 10 years, the world went silent. NO concerts, NO live streams, NO laughter between the two on-wevers. Fans, millions of them, described the emptiness as like a piece of sunlight disappeared. But in that silence, reflection grew. Both men changed. They wrote, they trained, they dreamed about the next era. Letters from fellow soldiers described them as humble, kind, and disciplined, respected by everyone in uniform. They were no longer global stars, just two young men serving their country, side by side. October 2025. The world waits. Armies count down days like holidays, and then it happens. Jungkook reappears, radiating charisma that stuns the fashion world. Luxury houses compete for him. Calvin Klein, Prada, Dior, all calling him the future of male influence. He attends New York Fashion Week. Every step he takes becomes a headline. Jimin emerges not far behind. His birthday celebration in Busan turns the city into Jimin land. Fireworks, yacht parties, and billboards across the skyline. He is officially crowned the global IT boy of fashion 2025, mentioned across all 4 major fashion weeks: Paris, Milan, London, New York. Their reunion is not just a comeback, it's a cultural reset. BTS's upcoming 2026 album and world tour are already being called the return of legends. But more than the fame, what people admire most is their brotherhood, the invisible bond forged through pain, poverty, and passion. From 2 boys in a leaking dorm room to the faces of modern global culture, their journey is not defined by luck, but by resilience. They didn't just survive the industry, they rewrote its rules. Today, in 2025, Jungkook and Jimin are not merely singers or performers. They are living testaments to the power of dreams that refuse to die. "We didn't start this journey to become legends," Jimin said once in an interview. "We just didn't want to give up." And Jungkook added quietly, looking at his best friend, "We're still the same, just 2 boys who love to sing."